mistake. Repeat after me. I am not a mistake. Look at someone else and say, I am not a mistake. I'm just going to give you a few facts about Jeremiah. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. First of all, I want you guys to know my youth is that Jeremiah was a youth when he heard the voice of God. God already had set Jeremiah apart for the office of being a prophet before he was even born. That means that he knew him in the universe somewhere. Just like you and I. So you are not a mistake. What makes this so good is because we was already part of God's DNA. Before your mom and dad conceived you, he said, I knew you before you was formed in the womb. So you was already 100% DNA. Yes, he is the Father. The voice of God comes to announce our extraordinary worth. Our worth to God started before we was born. We have invariable worth because we was born in the mind of God. God had us on his mind. In his imagination. The fact that it's something that we can never change or ever been taken away from us is something you can never lose. You are not a mistake. Being a youth, you have to know and understand the significance of your worth. You got to know your worth. You got to know whose you are and who you are. We often question why we was born, ask the question, why did God have to place me in this family? Why this my mama? Why this my daddy? Because he knows the plans for your life. God's words to Jeremiah resonated with us all because it revealed a profound truth. The truth is, he already made you. He already knew you was going to be upset sometime. He knew your gender before your mama and daddy knew. He knew your race. He knew your status. You were not an accident to God. Just to think about it. He knew you before you was in your mama's womb. That right there is enough for me to shout. That he had me on his mind. The knowledge should fill us with a sense of awe and wonder. Why me, Lord? Why me? Why not you? Why not you? You are beautiful and wonderfully made in his image. So why not you? This understanding should shape the way that we view ourselves. Parents, it's the way that you should shape your way, that how you look at your kids. I know sometimes they get on your nerves, but still, you have to know that they was beautiful and wonderfully made in his image, that he had them on his mind, his DNA with no conception. So you would never have to hear nobody say, he is not the Father. He is the Father. Ain't no 99.999, 100%. He's your Father. God prescribed every single detail of the creation. He deliberately chose your race, your gender, the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, the color of your skin. You got to learn how to get comfortable in your skin. That's our problem. with our young black men and women. You gotta know how to say, I love myself. I don't need nobody to tell me, because I know that I know that I know that I know that I am beautifully and wonderfully made in God's image. You were not a mistake. Can you imagine how Jeremiah felt when he heard God say, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you to be a prophet of the nation. You might not be called to be no prophet. You might be called to be a teacher. You might be called to be a nurse. But God knows the plans of your life. Parents, we got to stop speaking negative things over our kids. You just going to be, let me tell a story. My dad is here. My dad know I love him and everything. I can't tell my dad's story like he can. But when my dad was out in the streets, he made sure that his daughter was taken care of. But my grandmother used to tell me, you're going to be just like your no good daddy. She used to say it all the time to me. She used to say that all the time. You're going to be just like your no good daddy. And I used to ask my dad, why my grandmama always say, I'm going to be just like my no good dad? What have you done to her to make her say that? He would say, I don't know. She just don't like me. But that stood with me for a while. Because one thing I made up in my mind, I would not be like my daddy, no good. So when I had my kids, I had to make sure I'm some good. Because I did not want to be no good like my daddy. But then I had to come to realization that my daddy really was some good. He really was some good. God gave him stewardship over me. He trained me. He brought me to church. If he didn't bring me, somebody else brought me. So my daddy was some good. He made sure I knew who my daddy was. So my daddy was some good. Even though my grandmother said he was no good. What we think is no good is good. Just like Pastor said, you got to let the wheat and the tare grow together. So that's what happened. God started doing the separation. But my daddy was some good. He might have had bad intentions, but he was some good. So as parents, you gotta be careful what you say to kids. You can't be saying, you ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. Some of us need to heal. That's what it is. You need to heal because you're still missing something that your mama and your daddy didn't give you. So now it's branching off to your kids. You need to heal. Because there's good in all of us. Everything God made was beautiful. So there's good in all of us. You were not a mistake. Don't ever let anyone tell you you was a mistake. You were not a mistake. None of us was a mistake. Now, we might make mistakes, but you're not a mistake. Because if he said, I knew you, let's go back to 5. Before I formed thee in the belly. That means before your mama even knew she was pregnant. She didn't know why she was throwing up. She didn't know why she was having morning sickness. She didn't know why she was craving. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. So you look at your neighbor again. I am not. I want to make sure my youth understand that they are not a mistake. Because the world can be so cruel to them. And parents, we gotta start back fighting for our kids. Stop trying to be your kids' friend. You are a parent. He gave you stewardship over them. He didn't say be their friend. He didn't say buy them things, push them off to the side. Some of your kids just need your attention. The same way you go hard for that man that don't really want you need to be the same way you go hard for your children. The same way you go hard for that job, you need to go hard for your kids. You know, see, I can tell my story. I ain't ashamed of nothing that I've done or what I've been through, because it didn't come with a manual. But I know one thing, I had a village. One thing my dad didn't do, if you were gonna be a part of his daughter's life, you had to be positive. You just weren't gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be in Santier life. My dad be like, no, what you gonna bring to her? Cause right now she already got an attitude problem. She already be wanting to fight. So what you gonna do different that I ain't doing? You know, we got this thing at our school called CAB, Caring Adult in the Building. So we have that at our school. So that's what I had. I had some caring adults in the building that said, hey, I'm going to take you up under my wing. It ain't always been easy. I still have my village at my age now. And they'll tell you, it was hard to raise Santier. I promise you it was. Because I'll cuss you out. And then I'll come in front of the church and ask you for forgiveness. I'll fight you at the church. And then I will ask you for forgiveness. But one thing you weren't going to do was try to tell Santier how to do it, when to do it, and where to do it. But I had to learn that would not get me anywhere in life. And that's what we have to do as parents. We got to fight hard because we know that the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy. You think he care about our kids? No, he don't. He got a job to do. Just like God got a job to do, the devil have a job to do. But one thing about God, he knows the plans for your life. So I got grown, had my own kids, worked. One thing about it, my daddy say, she'll work now. She don't do nothing else, she'll work. I worked and I worked and I worked. Hell started breaking loose in my house with my oldest. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. So it took my baby girl. She said, Mama, you work too much. We don't see you enough. I said, really? Everything I'm doing for y'all? Anything you ask for, I'm providing? And you're going to say you don't see me enough? Or I don't love you? But then God had to chastise me. It ain't about the money. It's about spending time. You don't know what your kids going through when you say, go on in that room. Send them in that room. Some of you kids, you better check their phone. The world is raising them. You better check that phone. You better check that phone. You don't know who they talking to. You have people on there that think they care about them. You'll go in there and find your daughter, your son. Now took their life. It's not a joke. Our young people just need someone to talk to. So you know what I did? I changed jobs. Because one thing I didn't want my kids to do, to grow up and say, my mama was never there for us. I probably was there financially, but I needed them to know I'm there anytime. Same way I fought for you in the physical, I'm going to fight for you in the spirit. So we have to do better because I know the plans that God has for my kids. I know the plans that God has for me. Do you know the plans that God has for you? Do you know the plans that God has for your kids? You know, but some of us, you don't want to go in there and do no praying because you want to know why? You ain't got no power. So I'm going to give you a little illustration. What I'm sorry. Where's the, let me have that. Come here, baby girl. Come right here for me. Sit right there for me. Matter of fact, lay across for me. Act like you sleep, baby. When your kids go in that room and you say good night, I'm going to tell you, my husband walked the house all night sometimes. I'd be like, where you going now? He going to make sure he check. You have to go in there and check on your kids because you don't know what they dealing with. Because we already know it ain't flesh and blood that we fighting against. So you have to go in there and you have to make sure you be praying, God, cover our mind, Lord. No weapon formed against her shall prosper. She is beautiful and wonderful made. She's the head and not the tail. She's above and not beneath. Lord, thank you for the plans for her life. But when you go in there and you ain't got no power, you just go in there and say, Lord, watch out. The devil like, oh yeah, I got me one now. She ain't even got no power. You got to have some power. The devil ain't playing. See, the devil know. He don't send his little imps. You got to come big with Santier, I promise you, because I'm putting on all the gloves. When I tell you no child left behind, I mean no child left behind. So you better get you a prayer life. Sit up, baby. And learn how to fight for your kids. And if you don't know how to fight, you better ask somebody to get with you. I don't care if you got to start with the Lord's Prayer. You better find you a prayer life. Because one thing about it, God say, I know the plans. And some of y'all, your kids probably be better off because what you have done was detoured the plan. Get out of God's way. That's what I had to do. With my oldest, God said, you're going to have to let go. Because what you're doing is you interfering right now. I'm trying to do something with her. But every time she get in some trouble, every time that you right there to save her, no, I need her to fall. And that's what happened with my oldest. But one thing about it, she knew God. Because I took her to church. I trained her up. She might have departed, but she knew how to get back to God. That's why I know my daddy was some good. Remember, you were not a mistake. You ain't nobody mistake. Because you know who your daddy is. So, with the plans, he broke it down. He gave us what we need to do for the P, the L, the A, the N, and the S. He said the P is to prosper. It don't matter how old you are, how young you are. He said, I know the plans for you. It don't matter if you educated. It don't matter if you single, married, widowed, divorced. God say, I knows the plan for you. He even know your struggles in school. Prosper means to be successful. Like I tell my kids at school, I need you to grow and go. To excel. Be all that you can be. Be like Nike. Just do it. L. Love us despite of. God plans to love us despite of us. That it is, God is going to love us despite your failures. It's okay to fail. You're not perfect. You might be working towards perfection, but you're not perfect. There was no but one perfect man. He died on the cross. None of us can die on the cross. Parents, stop beating yourself up. He loved you, despite of your shortcomings. He knew it. I know. But Santier, you just don't know. I'm a single parent. I was too. I was a single parent too. But he said he'll be a father for the fatherless. So you're not a single parent if you got a connection or a relationship with God. Tell him what you need. Ask him how to help you raise your kids. He there. He listening to you. Stop telling everybody else. Stop going on Facebook telling your business. Stop TikToking, Instagramming. Pick up the word. He said, you done told everybody else about your shortcomings. How you can't raise your kid. This, and that. But you ain't came to me. I'm right here knocking. Let me in. Oh, you don't want me to come in because you don't want me to see what you're doing. But I'm all seeing and knowing. I don't never sleep. There's nothing you can hide from me. He said, I'm going to love us despite our weakness. You get weak sometimes. We all get weak. Lay your burden down. Heavy loader. Stop trying to be superwoman or superman. Ask for some help. It's okay. That was my biggest thing. My dad will tell you, I ain't never really want to ask my daddy for nothing. Because I know what my dad's going to say. When you going to give it back to me? I ain't really want to ask my daddy for nothing. But then I had to realize, my daddy's there to help me. He's there to help. There's help in the house. But sometimes I had to go to my stepmom. I had to go to mama first. So she can kind of ease dad a little bit. Because I'm telling you, James don't play that. He need all his back. A, God has plans to always be able for us. He's able to keep us from falling. He's able to supply every need. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not. Shall not. Shall is a promise. You shall not want for anything. Nothing. He's able to turn our bad situation around and make it work for our good. And he's able to lead and guide you. Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him that is able to do what? Exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh this in us. You ain't got no power, he can't do it. He said you got to have power. Power. Stop being weak. You come to church all your life, and you trying to tell me you sitting on this man of God, you ain't got no power? Self-examination. You better check yourself. Check yourself. Don't be talking about, I ain't learning nothing from that pastor. I ain't learning nothing at that church. I don't know why. Everybody else is prospering, loving. You don't have no power. Ian, never leave you nor forsake you. He's always there. No matter how lonely you get, you feel in life, God is right there. Let him in. You done tried everything else. You done tried everybody else. And it got you nowhere. Let go and let God. Stop being selfish. I don't want nobody in my business. I don't want nobody to know. You putting your business out there. At least I want the man, the one that can help me know my business. Parents, we have to do better. He already gave us everything we need right here. Just pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. My youth. One thing I want you to take away from him is that you are not a mistake. You are not a mistake. You might not understand it now, but you'll understand it by and by, as grandmama used to say. You are not a mistake. You are beautiful, wonderfully made in his image, by his DNA. He is your daddy, 100%. It don't matter if you don't have a daddy or your daddy is not in your life. You have a daddy. Only thing you got to do is just call on him. Get to know him. But I don't know how to get to know him. Pray. Have a relationship. Same way you have a relationship with your friend, you can have a relationship with God. Your friend can't help you in the midnight hour, but God can. You ain't got to worry about going to school on Monday and somebody knowing your business. Because, see, God ain't going to tell your business. You ain't got to worry about nobody knowing that your daddy is not in. When somebody say, you ain't got no daddy. Yes, I do have a daddy. I have a daddy. What's your daddy's name? Jesus. You might need to get to know him, but I have a daddy. You are not a mistake. You are beautiful. Know that. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. Don't make nobody make you feel bad where you come from. Don't get to the point to where you can't talk to somebody. You better find you a cab. That's a caring adult in a building. If you can't talk to nobody, we have cabs in here, Restoration. No child left behind. I thank God we have not had to bury a youth here at Restoration. I don't take that lightly. God is showing us favor. We have work to do. Stop just worrying about your own. Let's get that village back. I don't want nobody telling my child what to do. Somebody already telling your child what to do. If you don't get it straight, the law gonna tell them what to do. It ain't that we trying to tell them what to do. We want them to have a relationship with God. So in closing, he know your name. He know your name. He know your name. You can play a little bit of that for me, Aaron. He know your name. So he know your name. All my youth, to the front, please. Come around. God says, suffer the little kids to come unto me. This is serious to me. At the age of 17, I began to get frustrated. I didn't think I needed to be here anymore. So what did I do? I tried to commit suicide at the age of 17. I had a car. I drove that car to my friend's house. I had taken 10 pills. Don't know how I got to her house. She just happened to come out there in the driveway. She said, Santier, what are you doing here? I said, I don't even know how I got here. I began to black out. She called the ambulance. They came, got me. I could hear the paramedics say, we have to pump her stomach quickly. But she's not going to make it. Another medic whispered in my ear. I can hear it like it was yesterday. I shall live and not die. That's all she kept saying. You will live and not die. There's a generation of young people waiting on you. You shall live and not die. You are important. You're important to God. You're important to me. You're important to everyone in this ministry. But you got to know that you are important to yourself. I woke up in a mental hospital. I'm not lying. My mom, my dad, pastor, woke up, didn't know what was going on. Pastor and my dad came and got me. Still didn't know what was going on. I just knew my dad was going to get on to me. You know what he did? He embraced me. He said, child, why would you do something like that? I said, I didn't think I needed to be here anymore. My dad said, there's a lot for you to do here. Pastor said, you don't know. You don't know the plans that God has for you, do you? I said, I don't. Because I didn't think anyone cared. I knew they loved me, but because I didn't feel the love, I tried to take the easy way out. There's no easy way out. No easy way out. I don't know what you're dealing with, but God knows. And today, we're going to leave it at this altar. It's no more. We ain't going to pick it up. I cancel suicide. I cancel suicide right now. I send it back to the pits of hell where it belongs. I cancel suicide. You shall live and not die. You are beautiful, wonderfully made. I know it gets hard sometimes, but just know. Only thing you got to do is go to your mom. She's waiting. Come and grab your daughter. Embrace your daughter. Embrace your daughter. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. Come and get your son, Carson. You would not be what they said your mama and daddy was. Come and get your God kids, Lisa. Stand with your grandbaby. That's what we ought to get back to doing. You got to get back to hugging your kids, loving your kids. God knows your name. 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 Woo, the devil's mad. But like I tell you, I'll fight the devil in the physical and I'll fight the devil in the spirit when it comes to these kids. Minister Cochran, if I can get you off of that guitar right quick. Minister Cochran, if you can come down. We already know that the oil has been anointed. It's been prayed over. If you two would just walk around and pray for our youth. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, how you walk with me. Oh, how you talk with me. Oh, how you tell me I am yours. You know my name. You know my. Thank you, God, for knowing my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, how you walk with me. Yes, thank you for walking with us. Keep walking to us, Lord God. Yes.
You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. You know my name. Oh, how you walk with me. Oh, how you talk with me. Yeah. And oh, how you tell me that I am your own. You know my name. You know my name. know my name.